I'm Shaq, and welcome. Today I'm going to read a story, Ma Lien and the Magic Brush. And I'm pretty sure that it's coming out, backwards to you. But Hisako Kimishima is the author and illustrated by Ken, I think, Wakana. I butchered their names, I'm sure. I apologize. This one has a little bit of damage. Looking at a corner torn off a page. It was published in 1968. It's another Parents Press magazine. Parents Magazine Press publication. Yes, I rearranged the words. This is our opening picture here. There once lived in China a poor peasant boy named Ma Lien. Day after day he worked hard in the fields so that he would have food to eat and a small hut to live in. Ma Lien's greatest dream was to be an artist, but the boy had not so much as a copper coin with which to buy a brush. One day, as he trudged along under a heavy load, he passed by the house of a famous artist. Going over to the gate in the high wall, Ma Lien peeked in, hoping to see the great man at work. Silently he stood, watching the artist as he painted a portrait of the mandarin. At last the boy could hold his excitement no longer, and he boldly spoke up. "Oh, great one," he said, "could you let me have one of your brushes? An old one that you don't need any more, so that I, too, might paint a picture?" On hearing this unexpected voice, the artist turned around. When he saw it was only a poor peasant boy daring to ask for one of his brushes, he became very angry. "Ha! So you think you would like to paint?" he cried. "Away with you, back to your fields!" And he drove the frightened Ma Lien from his gate. Let's see if we can get this whole picture in there. But Ma Lien would not be discouraged. He drew pictures wherever he could, using a stone to scratch on a flat rock or his fingers to draw in the wet sand of the riverbank. When he went back to his hut at night, he drew pictures on the wall by the light of a flickering candle. Soon he had covered the walls with pictures of everything he could think of. With practice, Ma Lien became more and more skillful. One day he drew a picture of a small chicken. A hawk flew by and circled around and around, thinking it was a real chicken. Another time he drew a scowling wolf on a rock in the pasture. The cows and sheep were so frightened by this wolf that they would not go near the rock, even though it was surrounded with lush, sweet grass. But with his skill, Ma Lien still did not have a brush. Lying one night on his bed, he looked around his room at all the pictures he had scratched on the clay walls and sighed. "Oh, if only I had a brush," he said. "What beautiful pictures I would paint." With that, there was a flash of light, and standing before the boy was an old wizard. He was leaning on a twisted cane, and his white beard fell to the floor. "Ma Lien," he said in a creaky voice, "you have worked very hard, and now you have earned a brush. Use it wisely, for it has great power." And saying this, he handed the trembling boy a beautiful paintbrush. Before Ma Lien could even stammer out a thank you, the old man had vanished. With a cry of joy, the boy rushed over to the one bare spot on his wall and quickly painted a proud and happy rooster. But he had no sooner painted the last curling feather of the rooster's tail when the bird sprang from the wall and flew to the windowsill. There he gave a great "Cock-a-doodle-doo," and disappeared into the night. "Now I know why the wizard said this brush had great power," said Ma Lien. "Do not worry, old man. I will use it wisely." The next morning, as Ma Lien was walking to the mountain to gather firewood, he passed a rice paddy. There he saw a man and a young boy pulling a heavy plow to till the paddy. Ma Lien quickly went over to the wall of an old shed and painted a strong and healthy water buffalo. Again, just as he finished, the beast leaped from the wall, and with a low moo, he lumbered down to the paddy. Now, with the help of the buffalo, the man and his son soon had the paddy ready for planting. Just at that moment, the mandarin came by, and seeing the power of Ma Lien's magic brush, he ordered the men to seize the poor boy. When they had brought Ma Lien to the mandarin, he commanded the boy to paint a pile of silver coins for him. Ma Lien, remembering the wizard's words, refused, and the mandarin had him thrown in the dungeon with his other prisoners. Ma Lien soon discovered that the other men had done no wrong, but had been imprisoned by the mandarin so that he could steal their lands. "Never fear," said the boy. "I will have us all free before too long." As the night passed, Ma Lien waited until the guards had dozed off. Then quickly he painted a door on the wall. The prisoners pushed against it, the door swung open, and they fled into the night. The mandarin's men came chasing after Ma Lien, but the boy easily escaped on the fine horse he had painted for himself. So we've got him escaping into the night here. Angry yelling from there. He's also very quick with that brush. Ma Lien knew he would not be safe if he remained on the mandarin's lands, so he rode for many miles until he came to a strange village. Here he continued to help anyone he could with his magic brush. He painted buffaloes to help the farmers in their fields, he painted chickens for the farmers' wives, and he painted toys to keep the children happy. One day he came upon some farmers hard at work carrying buckets of water to their dried-up fields. "That work is much too hard for you," said Ma Lien. And he set about painting a fine water wheel so that it would be easier to bring the water from the river into the fields. And so it was that Ma Lien and his wonderful brush became known throughout the land. It wasn't long before the mandarin learned where Ma Lien was living. He sent his soldiers to the village, and when they found the boy, they seized him and dragged him back to the palace. The mandarin instantly took away the brush and commanded that the boy be thrown into the dungeon. "Without this, I don't think he will escape so easily," he laughed. Then he sent for the court painter and ordered him to paint a picture with the brush. "What would you have me paint?" he asked. "A tree," said the mandarin, "a tree with leaves of gold that will fall like the rain when I shake the branches." The artist went right to work and soon had a fine tree painted on the wall of the palace. But when the mandarin rushed to shake the tree, he got no more than a bump on the head for his trouble. The tree was nothing but a painting on the wall. Now the mandarin realized that only Ma Lien could paint pictures that would become real. Sending for the boy, he spoke kindly to him. "Ma Lien," he said softly, "if you will paint but one picture for me, I will give you your freedom." The boy, thinking of a way to trick the greedy man, agreed to do as he was asked. The mandarin's eyes lit up with delight. And did I show you that picture? I don't think I showed you that picture. The mandarin's eyes lit up with delight. He handed the brush to Ma Lien and said, "Paint me a mountain of pure gold." The boy went to work at once, painting a broad expanse of blue sea. The wide sea spread all across the wall. "Why do you paint the sea?" demanded the mandarin. "I ordered a mountain of gold." "I have not finished," said the boy quietly. And with that he painted a great gold mountain rising up out of the sea. "Beautiful, beautiful," cried the man. "Now paint me a ship so that I can sail to my mountain and bring back the gold." In a twinkling, Ma Lien had painted a fine ship, worthy of a mandarin who was about to travel to a mountain of gold. The man wasted no time in hurrying aboard with a troop of his finest soldiers. The sail was raised, and slowly the ship rowed out to sea. Too slow, shouted the mandarin. "Give us a wind to speed us along." Obediently, Ma Lien painted a wind cloud. The wind came whistling down, and the sails filled out. The wind ruffled the water, and great waves rose about the ship. "Too much!" cried the mandarin angrily. "You will sink my ship!" But Ma Lien paid no attention. He went right on painting storm clouds. Now the wind howled and shrieked, and the waves crashed about the ship. Then, with a great crack, the ship split in two and sank in the stormy waters. Once more, Ma Lien returned to his simple life with the peasants, always ready to help them with their work, and never again was he forced to use his magic brush for evil and greed. I hope you enjoyed today's reading and that you have a delightful day and a wonderful week. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.